Alright, my friends, this is yet another non-regular video for my channel. I did one that I posted, the state of the channel. This one is the state of the technology for the channel, perhaps. I don't know. It's just me griping, right? No. Like I said, I've tried over the past year to enhance my abilities on this channel, do things, make things a little better, more interesting perhaps. We've actually reached 117 subscribers, which is pretty good considering where I came from and what I started out with. Of course, this past year has been very nice, having a fixed location with a place to do my videos and a little bit of privacy and not interfering with my wife's projects out there. And in general, I've got my here sleeping is Frankie, the rescue cat. Squeaky, our other house cat, never comes in here, rarely anyway, but Frankie seems to be content as long as I'm here running my mouth. Alright, so I'm not a professional. I don't claim to be. Videos show that, but I do listen and I do watch some videos and stuff on how to improve things. The addition of a few props were just fortuitous because for Star Wars it was easy, not so much on some of these others, and I don't have a budget to go out and spend a lot of crazy money on a lot of things, even small things. And then everybody has a niche, and this is not one of mine. We're always dealing with other issues. My selfie stick here, I think this summer I'm going to bring some kind of better, more fixed method of at least clamping it to this table. That I got a lot of duct tape over here, you can't see, but I'm not going to try to bring the channel around. But that brings us up to some of the technology idea stuff, which is sitting right here in front of me. And the Black Friday sales and stuff, you're all familiar with them. We had an opportunity this Saturday after that. My wife and I was out shopping, and the Walmart across the street, we stopped at Menards, and I came across a couple items that were really, really cheap. This is a particular small camera and device. This, by the way, is my third attempt at this video today. The first one, I botched it, and then I redid it, and 90% of it was done, and then the computer crashed. See, there's one of those technological problems. I'm not likely to solve it right away. I'm hoping by this time next year, by the end of the year, to be able to squirrel enough money away to get a newer laptop. This one's going on, it is going on 2 years old. It was already one of the lower versions when I bought it new, so I need one that's got a little bit more capacity, some more computing, more CPU, more computing capability. Every time I turn this software on, I get a little box window pops up that warns me that high CPU usage issues can occur. So the previous video crashed, and I think it's related to that to some degree. Anyway, this video, little camera, costs a whopping $7. There are other cameras that are advertised on TV that look very similar to this particular brand or design, and I have by Howland Tech, and they're much more expensive. And I went and I did some little research, and the internet is just full of bad Google reports. People really don't like their product because partly they use an SD card, and the slot is poorly designed, and the SD card has a tendency to go in the slot and fall off and fall into the box, and then you have to dismantle the box to get your card out, and you pretty much ruin your camera. Or it gets stuck in there. Now this one has a different time with them. You're the tech guys, you tell me what that is. But I bought one, and it came with an SD reader. So you take this out of here and insert it into the SD card that you then insert into the laptop to download the video. It has a nice color resolution up close. I don't know what it would be like from a distance. I do know that it does not include sound. My original reasoning for getting this was more for work than for doing videos or for my channel. In that case, the idea is, you clip it on your clothing somewhere. That way you can record what you're doing. And I have occasional customers who, I don't know, they complain once in a blue moon, and I've serviced them for years, and then suddenly there's a problem. It's usually because something they did is wrong, and they don't want it to be them. They want it to be us, so they don't have to pay a lot of money out. In the case of what I do, cleaning grease traps and stuff, it's general common sense. I just take the stuff out of the box. I scrape the inside of the box and I put the lid back. Now sometimes I don't put the lid back correctly, or it doesn't seal right and it causes an issue. So be it. That's just the nature of the stuff, but I'm usually pretty cautious. On the other hand, I get occasional customers whose usually their plumbing clogs up. The first thing to do is call us, and they're angry because somehow we did something. When I cleaned it out, I caused their pipes to clog. And like I keep telling them, I says, the truck is a big vacuum. I'm sucking out everything in your box. And the hoses do not fit down your pipes. I cannot run a hose through the pipe, and I don't have attachments to run them in the pipe. I don't carry a snake, so I can't unclog your pipes. That is a plumber. They get paid a lot more than I do, and they have liability insurance that we don't cover. So if I was to start mucking around with restaurants' pipes and I break them, then we have to pay for it. No, we don't do that. I will call my employer and let him explain it to them if necessary. But I mean, I try to do my level best by my customers. I have very few complaints, and most of the ones that do, you kind of have to look at them sideways thinking, really? You waited 4 months about a smell, you complained about a smell, your neighbors complained about a smell, the mall complains about a smell, and now we are 4 weeks after, 3 weeks after the service, and you're complaining. Why didn't you call us the next day? When you said you smelled it the next day, why didn't you call the next day? I could have come out and we could have addressed the problem and not gone a month. Right? Or the customer whose plumbing did clog up on actually several different customers over the years. And the first one went 6 weeks. Oh, it started acting up right after your last service. Okay. All I do is pull the stuff out of the box. If something went down your pipe, well, it's not my fault. I don't have to tell you. Call a plumber. Sorry. And I'll make do with best I can, but sometimes people are not rational. That's my thought. The other thought was, traffic's crazy. I know I'm getting older, and there's such a thing as age-related stuff. I get you. But it sure seems like to me that a lot of people today drive a lot more recklessly and crazier than they used to, even when I was younger and I drove crazy. And then you add insult to injury. If you've ever seen any of the videos that show my work truck, it is a big, ugly, greasy, beat-up, dented, ugly thing. Why would you play chicken with it? Why would you try to cut in front of it? Why would you expect it to stop like a car? I cannot tell you. It's just enough of those incidents that make you want to, I had a couple near misses over the summer because of people driving crazy. Now we're into winter weather, and it just gets worse. I thought maybe if I mounted this on the dash and ran it, it's good for supposedly 24 hours of recording. Maybe I could, have it as a safety device, security device to protect me and the company from a libel lawsuit or something, because somebody tries to blame me for their poor driving. But at the same Menards, like I said, this was only $7. So if it don't, it's not very, it's kind of rare, it's really fragile, so it's not like it lasts too awful long. And I don't know how well built inside it is, and I can't tell you right off the top the name of the brand because I'd already taken it out of the package before I thought about it. And I had the box that this came out of in my original, it's in my thumbnail. And in the first video, I threw it in the trash. I thought I was done. It didn't work out. So this is a sharper image version of a GoPro, and I got it for $19, $19.95. A really heavy discount for Black Friday, post-Black Friday, whatever you want to call it. And I got thinking, I says, now this is a device I could potentially make videos on when I'm out on at work. I try to do them on my phone, but my phone is an older model and it has limited capacity. You can only do so much. There was a time a year ago, and you'll see that in some of my older videos, that you used to be able to do YouTube live videos pretty much anywhere, and so I would do them from my truck where I'm waiting for a job or doing a job or driving between jobs. And some people, well, you should never do that sort of thing when you're driving. I point out to you that I do not set the camera and muck with the camera other than maybe shutting it off when I'm done. I do preset everything before I start moving the vehicle. And in this state, we have a law that says hands-free. So as long as that thing is attached to the dash and I'm not playing with it, it's legal for me to utilize my phone to make videos or to watch or listen to music or what have you. I don't answer text messages while I'm driving, and I don't answer the phone usually when I'm driving, because it's hard enough to drive a stick manual in crazy traffic and try to fiddle with your phone anyway. But I thought this might be in this nifty addition to the channel, because I could try to do some videos and stuff. It has an SD card for storage, so it has much more storage than my phone would, and it's a bigger camera. I suspect a better picture, though I can't 100% say. And of course, I don't have the money to buy. They have those gyroscope device gizmos. I'm going to keep an eye out to see if I can't get a cheap one, because my truck, it's a truck, for Christ's sake. It vibrates a lot when you're going down the road. But the upside, it has its own audio. The downside, though, is there's no place to plug a microphone into it. So I don't know how well the sound will work over the noise of the truck, and until I do a test video or two, there's just no way to know. But there's still opportunities for using this thing. I could be doing videos while the truck's running. Sometimes it takes 25 minutes, 30 minutes to fill the truck. I could set and then just walk off a little some distance from the sound of the pump and do a video with it or two. So it'll be interesting to see how this plans out. It's got a lot of attachments and stuff for mounting it, and different ways of mounting it. I have to investigate all of them to figure out just what is what. Then there's a Velcro wristband that goes in there too. I mean, I've never owned anything like this, and if any of you people have, and you have some advice or some warnings or something that you want to give me a little bit of a commentary on it, I will welcome that. Absolutely welcome it, because it's a new toy, and actually for $20, it was like 60% knocked down or something like that. I just couldn't pass it up. What opportunity do you get to have something like this come along? So I paid $7 for this, $20 for that for the most part, and I hope to have extra stuff on the channel and maybe enhance some videos or add different videos. Just recently, even though I kind of knew the thing was here, I figured out, if you look up here, okay, here you go. You look up here, you can see the picture-in-picture. I think trying to put that in is what caused my computer to crash, because, like I said, high CPU, so I can only do so much at a given moment, or my computer won't handle it, and so I have to keep that in mind and mindful. But the software is XSplit. I think I talked about it. It has a lot of extra functions, and you can. This is a free version, so I only have 4 scenes. I have the opening one that you saw, and then I have the one that I've been flipping back and forth, these two here, and then I have the closing scene, of course. And we're not, I'm just saying that that's it. If I want additional scenes, I need to join. I have to, subscribe, and it's about $5 a month to begin. That would give me an unlimited amount of scenes. I don't know how many scenes I need. I don't have a whole lot of time for. I don't want to spend a half an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours doing a lot of prep work coming in here. I do a little bit, but not that much for every video. I mean, if I wanted to spend the time, I could use my computer printer to pay some of the artwork and stuff and do some scenes on that, or I could Google some extra material to toss in there. But I don't know that it matters. I mean, if we were looking at a channel where we're trying to get tens of thousands of people and we need more whiz and bangs, well, I need a bigger laptop to start with, something with more computing power before I start adding a bunch of extra stuff. I can do some tricks and things I've learned through various media service outfits. I mean, I can create thumbnails with and put words on them. There's a way of putting words and stuff on this thing too, although how it coordinates and how it works I haven't figured out. I did write down a couple of things earlier when I first started this afternoon. I'm going to Google about XSplit and try to learn, because there's some way of putting a green screen on this thing and then adding print and signs or things like that. If I can do it in a simple way, I might try, because there are times when I'd like to add a little bit here. I think we could enhance it just a bit. The green screen, of course, would open up some of the opportunities. You'll notice, or maybe you don't notice, that when I sit here, I tend to be off camera here. I'm not centered. Well, I can turn my laptop a little bit, right? But I have a lot of stuff here, stuff behind me. There's literally, my chair will only go back a few feet. Like I said, I've been utterly grateful for the past year that we got a house, and we have a spare room that we can set up, and I have a little workspace to work on these things. I can close the door so I'm not bothering the wife, and she doesn't like to listen to me ramble on about stuff, because she doesn't have any interest whatsoever in the hobby. And of course, Frankie likes to listen to me. She's laying over sleeping on this sitting chair. This is usually in the living room full of spare blankets, but since the Christmas tree's up, it's in here. But about 90% of the stuff in here ain't mine. We call it the hobby room, but it's really a big storage, right? It's one big closet. And it was one of those reasons I knew my wife, I knew myself, when we looked for a house, it had to have a spare bedroom for storage, right? It is what it is. There's potential here. We're not set up to hold a guest, or my kids are grown and they live a long way away and rarely come visit. So we have a huge sofa thing out front that grandkids come, they can sleep on it, but extra blankets and stuff. If the kids ever showed up, we could always put them up in the RV. Anyway, so we set this up. I've got some relatives absolutely do not want them thinking that I have a place for them to crash. Nothing personal, but I'm not going down that route with them. So, looking at the software, we say, well, it's only $5 a month. Well, yeah, so I'm paying, $60 a year. And when you add those things together, they start to add up. I'm not the most wealthy person in the world. We are holding our own. We have good months and we have slow months. This month is a bad month, with my truck being broke down a lot. We're starting to eat into our savings, which I don't like. It gives me stress. So when we think of these monthly subscription things, well, I have a monthly subscription to the local newspaper for the Sunday paper. It's $12 a month. And then I have a monthly subscription to Microsoft to use WordPerfect Word or whatever, and a couple other programs that go with it, and that costs you either $80 a year in one lump, or about $8, $6, $7. It's $6, I think, a month, something like that. So now you add that. Now we're at $20 a month just between the paper and that. And there's something else that I'm on Patreon. I support $5 a month on that. So I'm paying about $25 a month. And well, I don't want to keep adding to it, so I have to really justify in my mind whether or not subscribing to XSplit and getting additional bells and whistles is useful or financially, fiscally wise. Is it the $5 a month, the $60 a year going to aid the channel and get better or not? I mean, I can have extra scenes But how many scenes do I need? One or two more, maybe. I don't need 20. I don't have time for 20. There's some other things that I'm not. That's why I want to do some research and see exactly what some of these extensions and other items that they offer. Because I'm sitting here looking at the screen that you're not looking at, and I can see a section for extensions, a section for tools. It has some stuff where you can moderate the sound, and both the sound that I hear in my speakers, the sound that you would hear from me to some degree. My headphones has its own sound, and I figured that out not that long ago. So I knew it was there, I just never really messed with it, and I have to be cautious because if I tap it wrong, I've had to reshoot an entire video. Yes, yeah, I did. Well, I did a number of. I've been in here a lot longer today than I usually am because I've had to redo several videos. One because it crashed, and one because of something else, and then there was another one because there was no sound, and I didn't realize I tapped it until I was halfway through it. And I always do a test video when I first hook everything up to make sure the sound and everything's working. I mean, because I try to avoid those. I've had, you know, that in the past. It is part of the thing. So I have to look at that, and I will. So maybe I can do some more stuff for the interest for the channel. For me, I think it's all about the content, and I preached this before. I've said it before. You know, I'm not ready for another Pepsi. It's mostly Pepsi flavored water. Is that it's all about the content. It's about the love of our you know, hobby, of sharing the hobby. These are the two videos I did today as well. Pearls of the Sea of Ren from Middle Earth, MERP, and from Micron Enterprises, and West End Games version of Star Wars, the politics of contraband, smuggling, being smugglers. And so I have those. I'll be posting those today along with these videos. Hopefully, you know, can I make improvements? It's about sharing and doing great things with what we have to work with. I believe, you know, this one here, like I said, it says 1992 on it, was when it was published. I paid $10 for it. There's a $10, I don't know if you can see the $10 tag on there or not. It said $10 and 92. This probably would cost you $30 new today. That's the reason why I haven't bought the latest Star Wars, the Age of Empire, Age of Rebellion. I mean, look at the team. Come on, the prices are so high, and there's so many of them. I mean, just the core books alone, it'd be a couple $300 just to buy all 3 versions that are currently out. And I don't have a round top table. I do a play-by-post for D&D Beyond, and that's I tried. There's another. I tried to do a Shadowrun game on another platform, and the platform's okay. It's functionable. My downside is I got some enthusiastic players, and then suddenly they just dragged their feet. They didn't, you know, participate. And if you can't participate in a play-by-post on a regular basis, whether it's every 3 days or once a week or every day, then there's no point in having it. You know, I'm sorry, I don't have the desire to keep popping on there waiting for 10 days for somebody to give me a response. How do you coordinate between players when somebody responds every 4 days and somebody wants to respond every couple weeks? Why did you even sign up to play? You know, kick you loose and go forward. So sitting around the table, I have a place that it would take a lot of effort to set it up. It'd be easier just to pull the kitchen table out and play in there and listen to my wife gripe. I don't have a lot of associates who want to play. I haven't had time to go. My old friends and stuff are long moved away. You kind of have to be socially connected to find new players you can advertise. But setting up a at-home table, it's a little, in my experience, this is kind of rough. The other issue on my table for me is my schedule. My schedule's terrible, terribly erratic. And if it wasn't for me putting my foot down about at least Saturdays, I mean, and even then, here I am, I would have worked all day today, Sunday, because the truck broke down, and I've been griping about that in several videos already. And I would have put in hours, and I did. I was out all night, most of Friday night, and I tried to have Friday nights off, work during the day and get Friday evening off, and have Saturday off. And whenever I can, when it's slow, take the Sunday off. But I worked until about 1:30 in the morning on Saturday morning, Friday night, Saturday morning. I would have worked till 5 or 6 or even later, trying to catch up the jobs from 2 weeks ago and last week when the truck was broke for different reasons. And now here it is. There was 2 jobs Friday night, Saturday morning that did not get finished, and I had 4 jobs scheduled for today that aren't happening. And there are jobs scheduled all day tomorrow, and the odds are really good that the parts we're looking for fuel filters for this truck, and nobody in this city had them, and so they had to order. My boss had to order them, and it could be Tuesday or Wednesday before they arrive. Well, Tuesday is Christmas Eve, and I have Christmas off, and I was adamant having Christmas Eve off, so I'm going to work during the day if the truck's running. If there's no filters, so be it, right? It still adds to the stress because, geez, none of those jobs are going to go away. Here I am griping about all this stuff again, right? It has nothing to do with the channel. Well, it does. It does. It is pertinent to this channel. It's pertinent to my availability. So I wasn't sure I was going to get some videos shot for this weekend anyway. I mean, I try to have something every week, and whenever I can, I'll try to make up enough videos in advance that I can go a couple weeks. But lately, since I've started spending more time on these videos, I just haven't had time to make multiple sets, or I just didn't have the energy to make multiple sets. Sometimes it's just everything, life gets in the way and things are busy. So I'd figured on Christmas Day, later in the day, doing a couple of videos because I was going to work this weekend. Now, I still probably will do a couple of videos Christmas Day for next weekend, because assuming we will get the truck running again, it's just a matter of when. And then every day counts, every hour counts, as much as I can get done. And then New Year's is coming, and then the next year. And with luck, this run of bad luck on that truck, mechanically speaking, will come to an end for a while, and I can just focus on the work and life and my hobby as I enjoy it. There you have it. So once again, I'm hoping to have addition of some new tech. Rob Gusserson, like I said, he's got a really nice camera with a built-in microphone, kind of really designed to do vlogging and stuff. And I don't know what he said he paid for it, but it took, I would like to have something like that eventually. I've looked at prices on them. I don't really want to run up another $200 or $300 on the credit cards. Our credit cards are already too high now, and it's going to take a while to get them paid down before I'm comfortable. And I want to get a rototiller come spring, so things got to go. In fact, I was able to get this for $20. Well, this is just one of those you just gotta grab and hope, right? If I could, I would like to get a microphone, something I can sit here on the table, because I don't, like I said before, I don't like these. I don't like the way they fit against my ears. I also can't hear what's going on elsewhere if I need to. My wife's epilepsy, sometimes she'll have seizures, and I keep an ear out for things because that's what I do. Anyway, I bought this because I needed it in the RV, and you needed to get better sound because the sound speaker on the laptop itself is not so hot, and it's sitting here, it's further away, it's much worse. I definitely had to have the headphones. And so I've seen other guys using, other people, they got microphones and stuff, and I'm looking possibly if I can find something that's reasonably priced and a good one. Anyway, so like I said, any advice, any suggestions, any tech knowledge, any information you people know on these things that can help me, or my warnings of what to not do so I don't screw them up or get stupid with them. Information on the software packages, XSplit. I know there's other software packages out there. At the moment, I'm not really willing to switch to another program because we're back at that time thing. It's the time it takes to learn a new program. It's not necessarily conducive to what my needs and things like that. There you have it, right? Till next time, you guys enjoy the holidays. Have a great Christmas if that's your, if you celebrate. I have run into a few of those who don't, which always kind of puts me back a little bit when you say, well, happy holidays or happy Christmas, Merry Christmas. Well, we don't celebrate Christmas. Really? That's kind of right up there. I've never watched Star Wars. I don't know. Really? How could you not? Right? How could you not? And then there's the ones when people say things like that and you go, bleep bleep. Yeah, you're not yanking my, no. God bless my spouse. She's a diehard country music fan. I don't know, most of you probably have not heard of Leif Garrett, right? I hadn't heard about him in so long until he was on a talk show here the other day, and I had to Google him again. He was a pop idol, song idol from the 70s, which is a little before my time. I mean, I'm a child of the 80s, to be truthful. I was, you know what, in my early teens in the 70s, so I had some of the 70s experience, but not my 20s and were the 80s, right? So anyway, he played some songs that I heard a lot on the radio when I was younger, and my wife swears up now she had no idea. I never heard that music. I don't listen to it. You can't make me listen to it. If I'm playing the music on my laptop in the living room, you're listening to it whether you want to pretend like you're ignoring it or not. Whether it registers, I don't know. Just saying what I'm saying. So when somebody sits there and says, oh, I've never watched Star Wars. So all these trailers and teasers and people yammering about them on the TV shows, you never noticed any of those? You can't say you're not at least familiar with it. How can you not be familiar with Star Wars in our lexicon? If you were from, I don't know, Timbuktu in the backwaters of some, Australia maybe, and even then, I'm strongly doubtful that you haven't at least heard of it. Well, I've heard of it, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay, right, so you've heard of it, but you never watched the movie, you never saw even a part of it. Yeah, okay, it happens. I mean, sure, but I can't rationalize it in my head. It's just like perceptions of other people. When we look at certain types of people and we go, we have stereotypes in our heads all the time, and we can't help it. It's part of our human nature. What is the game guy, right? So who plays our games and who don't play our games? Are you a geek or not a geek? Are you a nerd or not a nerd? I'm just saying, how can you not look at somebody and say, well, this person can't possibly be interested in Dungeons and Dragons or role-playing. And I get proved wrong, even occasionally. Not perfect. There was a very, I don't know, he's definitely in a higher tax bracket than most of us, came to the office here last month and to see our former, he was selling our former business manager a laptop for her daughter. It was like an $800 custom job. He came from a company he works for. He buys they've replaced their stuff every year, so he buys some of the previous years, and because they're geared for this high-end business, they got a lot of power and stuff in them. And I was looking at it because I'm thinking, gee, I'd love to get one of those. And he went to this. He knows some of the instructors I had when I went to college, and because he volunteers to do some stuff at the college at some level, and he's younger than me, dressed very nice, driving a high-end BMW, and I mentioned about this video channel and then about the hobby, and next thing I know, him and I were for about 45 minutes talking about various. He's a big Pathfinder fan, and why he switched over and so on and so forth. And our business manager just had this this bug-eyed look on her face, like, what are you people talking about, and why are you talking about it when this guy's supposed to be talking to me? And I'm thinking, oh, okay, maybe anyway, right? But you never know. It's just one of those things. And here we are stalling again. So until next time, enjoy your holidays, enjoy your day. Get out there, today here, the sunshine is beautiful, and here I am inside making videos and thinking about taking a nap. I'm doing a couple batches of Rice Krispies for the coming weekend holiday, because for some reason I keep forgetting I keep thinking it's Wednesday and Thursday, and it's Tuesday and Wednesday. So fortunately, the wife is keeping that in mind.